People coming out defending Kyrie, talking about freedom of speech, but we can't be freedom of speech without. We can't talk about our boss's religion. We can't go on social media and do that. I can't do that on Facebook. I'll be in Annapolis at the Board of Education the very next day. Bring your computer. Report to headquarters. Bring your computer.
On today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis recap the NBA Week in Review, continue their discussion on Kyrie Irvin, also update listeners on the WNBA offseason news, as well as previewing featured upcoming week in the NBA. Welcome to today's show.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, the Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, to my Hulk Hogan before he turned heel. The icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, it's Wind Up Wednesday. We got the NBA. One of my favorite angles as a kid was Hogan not picking up the phone when Paul Orndorff called, and he said, I was under the weights. So anyway, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How you doing?
Man, this is a great time to be us. It's the most wonderful time of the year. We've got football, we got basketball, we got all kinds of things going on. So let's just jump into the NBA Week in Review, and fewer legal issues this week, Mike. So let's see how we do this. So is there anybody left to chime in?
You start the segment talking about fewer legal issues.
After last week, we were Judge Judy, we was Judge Wapner, we was Judge Springer, whoever was the show, man. So, all right, suspended Brooklyn Nets guard Kyrie Irvin has met with the team. He's met with league officials. He's met with union officials. He's apologized. He talked to everybody, but Joe Tsai still has not reinstated him. Adam Silver says, it's clear to me that Kyrie does not have any beliefs of hate towards Jewish people or any other group. Kyrie is expected to engage with a number of constituents, such as leaders in the Jewish community. He's supposed to make a good faith effort. The NBA PA sent out an email and said, we believe that the careful pause and reflection has started to pay off. All of this is going on. Mike, what are your thoughts before I take it back to the classroom?
It's a lot. It's too much. It's less. And I made the joke when you came on about less legal issues, but it's too much. It's supposed to be about basketball, and it's just too much for basketball. The New Jersey Nets owner, I don't like how it was handled. Now, I'm not saying I'm defending Kyrie, because I don't care who you are. You can't come out and talk about your boss like that.
We're process people, folks. We're process people.
Yeah, you can't come out and do that. Then you talk about the owners and people not acting timely enough. All right. So I just don't like I don't like none of this from top to bottom, not either side. I don't like any of it. It's just too confusing, disappointing. Nobody wanted to speak up before. And yes, they gave them the opportunity or whatever they say they did. It just didn't, none of it sits well with me. So, people coming out defending Kyrie, talking about freedom of speech. But we can't be freedom of speech we can't talk about our boss's religion. We can't go on social media and do that. I can't do that on Facebook. I'll be in Annapolis at the Board of Education the very next day. Bring your computer. Report to headquarters. Bring your computer.
Yes. So, Mike, I am glad you brought it to the schools because we're teachers. And this is one of the worst antiseptic bounces I have ever seen in my entire life. So, audience, what an antiseptic bounce is in education is you've got a problem child in the classroom and you just can't deal with that kid. So, you send him out of the room, send her out of the room, and one of your colleagues or someone comes in and tries to alleviate the situation. The problem with that strategy is at some point, that student's got to come back into the classroom. And that relationship has already been frayed. And if you don't work to bring that relationship whole, then you're going to have problems all year. Mike and I both work in academic intervention, and we see the mismanage of this strategy every day for 30 years in education. So basically, in terms of management, here's what the Nets did. They didn't like what Kyrie said. Okay, you have a right not to like what Kyrie said. And they had him suspended. They've had him apologize. They've had him donate money. They've had meeting after meeting after meeting. And they're still having meeting after meeting after meeting. But you also have to remember that Kyrie's teammates are mad at Kyrie. But Kyrie's teammates are seeing what you're doing to Kyrie, and the transaction and the thing that happened in the classroom in front of everyone. So what's going to happen when he comes back in? Because quite frankly, the Nets are playing well, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
The Nets are playing very well.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to bring him back in.
I hope you didn't, but you have to. But
because whatever he's done, according to the Nets, is not worthy enough of him being fired.
Then why did we go through all this? Then why did we go through all this?
That's the end goal. It's like, so you're doing all of these things, but he's got to come back and play. He's got to come back in the locker room. And you did this. The Nets did this.
And how long before the next time he does something like this? The guy doesn't want to play.
So
it's simple. He's been telling y'all that for the last 3 years. Yeah, and we're shocked the Nets playing better since he left. Oh, like the Celtics did when he left? Like, come on. The guy's a cancer. And I don't want to hear about he should be able to speak. Yeah, that's fine. You can do all of that. You want to be an activist? All of that. Martin Luther King didn't have to be in the NBA. Malcolm X didn't have to be in the NBA. Like, you be one or be the other. Like, remember Craig Hodges?
Yes, okay. I do.
All right.
So advice to the Brooklyn Nets, you've got to find a way to close that circle. You've got to restore that relationship, or you have to let him go. There is no middle ground in this. There's no middle ground. You have done so much harm to the relationship that you have to either bring him back and then stand with him, or you have to say, hey, this is too much, and we're going to eat the $37 million. Because again, if he's a part of your organization, then he's a part of your organization. You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So when it comes down,
they don't want to eat the $37 million, so they're going to do what they can to get him back in and get some money for him, get something out of him.
Man, this is, so good luck to all of that. But now let's go on to more foolishness. Brother, can you spare a dime? The Miami-Dade County and the Miami Heat are ending their arena naming rights deal with bankrupt cryptocurrency firm FTX. The county, Miami-Dade County, which owns the arena, signed, wait for it, Mike, a 19-year, $135 million deal for the Bayfront Heat Arena name. After an initial balloon payment of $14 million, FTX was scheduled to make a $5.5 million payment in January. FTX is a cryptocurrency exchange that filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection after a steep fall in crypto prices. I am shocked that crypto prices have fallen. Wow.
Can you believe
over that? With a dollar. Okay. The deal in Miami was one of a number.
There's no Santa Claus, just so you know.
Of sports marketing deals FTX has signed over the past few years, including sponsorship deals with the Golden State Warriors and the Washington Wizards. Among top athletes who FTX had deals with included Tampa Bay Bucks Tom Brady, quarterback Tom Brady, who had a funny commercial. It was a funny commercial. Warriors guard Steph Curry and tennis star Naomi Osaka. I think she better start training again. FTX also entered a deal with Mercedes for Formula One, sponsorship with Major League Baseball, whose umpires wear the company's logo. And Mercedes said recently that it would immediately move FTX logos from its Formula One cars. Mike, are you into crypto?
Yeah. I'm not into crypto. I get all those damn text messages though, and they try to follow me on Instagram. I'm not into crypto. I know the guy who worked with me did very good, did very well on it. Actually left the school system over a 4-month period. He did so well. He made in 4 months what his whole teaching salary was for that year. So he decided to leave, and that was in March. And he's actually working for one of these companies now as their marketing director. So I don't know. I got to check on him and see he's all right. But
Well, Mike, I've got to share my crypto story. Okay. One, I'm not into crypto. I'm into investing, but I'm a very conservative investor. As you can see from my own bets, I'm extremely conservative because it's about making money, not losing money. And from the first day I started teaching, I invested, which is why I will have the option after 30 years in the school system to retire from teaching and do something else. Again, I air quote always, and these are our private / public conversations because it's the worst kept secret that I'm eyeing a little warmer weather because I'm done with winter. But 5 years ago, I love project-based learning. I am a fan of extended research for students, and I had an 8th grader do a year-long project, and the driving question was, what's one of the biggest issues or challenges faced in the US? And the kid picked cryptocurrency. So I wasn't really into crypto. So I'm looking at an 8th grader, helping them with research, and they're doing real educational research as an 8th grader. And they were doing it on crypto because their dad was in it or whatever. And they're educating me, they're educating our class, and they're asking, hey, is this like the stock? Is this like the 1920s? And the kid at 13, 14 are making those connections between the stock market because as they're doing project-based learning, Mike, they're doing the regular United States history curriculum. So, hey, kids were researching police brutality, and then they're asking, hey, the Boston Massacre sounds like police brutality. They're researching race relationships, and they're looking at the antebellum South. That's learning, by the way, fans, but that's another story. So at the end of
watch it. You're getting close to critical race theory.
Again, we're not getting there. But that's my introduction to crypto, and that's one of the reasons why I stayed away from it because it just sounded
volatile.
Like the 20s. It just sounded like the 20s, and everybody's living fancy and high. And then October 1929 comes. So I'm good. I'm going to invest in Nike because you're going to still wear them. I'm going to invest in Disney because whether you like it or not, people are mortgaging their lives
ain't going nowhere
for a picture of that castle. Okay.
Yeah, true.
So I tend to be a conservative investor. So now I'm not into crypto, but good luck to everybody who's in it. And remind me to ask Will in the group chat if he's into crypto.
If you're into that sort of thing.
Okay. Finally, can they sustain this? Mike, the Utah Jazz traded their 3 best players. That's what they did. They traded Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and Bojan Bogdanovic. They traded their 3 best players. So usually when teams trade their 3 best players, they ain't trying to win. They're trying to collect assets, Oklahoma City, and they're trying to do something later. But they're playing well. They're like 10-4 at the time of this taping.
They're doing good.
And wow, can they sustain this? And is Danny Ainge like a genius or something? Is he a basketball savant? Because they're not supposed to win, and they're winning. Any thoughts on Utah? And it's a running joke, fans, but I'm looking at the record after 14 games. Yo, y'all winning. Like,
yeah.
Wow. Any thoughts, Mike?
I think he just got away from this Boston thing, and he's out there maybe revamping, learn from his losses and the mistakes he made when he was here in Boston. Start, maybe evaluating talent better. Maybe he has a better team around him, but it's good to see that they're still winning. Especially for
Now they're not going to
entertainment
win in the
purposes.
postseason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so we're not touching that. Yes,
No, that is.
maybe we should have done the season long. Anyway, all right, fans, we'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA SAVE Project's academic monitoring service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. In segment 2, we've got some WNBA update as well as some college basketball updates. So one, Mike, unfortunately, I have to report that Brittany Griner has been transferred to a Russian penal colony, a move that we've all dreaded since her August conviction. Wow, it was in August. Her lawyers don't know where she is or where she's headed. And this is not good. We're also in election season. So a lot of these talks and conversations about having her come back along with some of the other prisoners probably won't happen soon because, quite frankly, they don't want to give Biden a win headed into, election season, and we have a presidential election in 2 years, and we're going to just be flooded with all of this. And you got the war in the Ukraine, and Russia's not doing well with that. So that is the definition of a political pawn. And we're wishing her health, we're wishing her safety. But any thoughts on that? Because that did come across, and we followed it from the start, Mike.
Yeah, it's not good. And again, it goes back, like you said, most of it's political pawn. She's a political pawn, unfortunately, and Donald Trump and the Republican Party, who knows how hard they're working against her release right now until there becomes a Republican president to make it look like they did it. Or he himself just flies over there, right before election and grandstands and.
So we will continue to monitor the story. But again, yes, our thoughts are with her and her family, and it's got to be tough. So moving on the court, number one, now what? For the first time in franchise history, and I'm shocked by this, the Indiana Fever earned the number one overall pick in the upcoming WNBA draft, and I already know who I'm picking. Aaliyah Boston will be in Indiana. I'm going to predict that right now.
Okay.
Who else do you want? Who else will transform and get you buckets for the next 10 years? She's a bucket getter. I just saw her play at the University of Maryland. And shout out to Maryland for playing the real people. And shout out for Dawn Staley of taking that road game, going to College Park, tough place to play. I wish I had known about the game earlier, but that's my fault. We're living. But yeah, man, I'm picking her. So
I love it. I love that they played each other. I was thinking about that yesterday on the way in. I just, man, shout out to Brenda Fries, man. Can we give this woman her flowers?
Yes, indeed, man. So Good luck to the Indiana Fever. But this is where I pause at the WNBA because it's hard to get in the news cycle. Their draft lottery was like the third or fourth thing that I saw on my feed. So then I had to go and say, oh, okay, let's look at the draft lottery. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. So anyway, I definitely wanted to give that news out though, because, we can now anticipate, who's going where. And as we follow women's basketball this season, we can check that out. So the next thing, welcome back. New York Liberty guard Sabrina Ionescu, the number one pick from the 2020 WNBA draft, has taken an offseason job with her alma mater, the Oregon Ducks, as the director of athletic culture. It's a job I think you could do well with, Mike.
I wish I could. Where?
Ducks, she's back at Oregon.
Oh,
So Ducks women's basketball coach Kelly Graves announced the part-time staff position. Ionescu will help with student athlete development and cultivate Graves' 5 pillars: passion, integrity, unity, thankfulness, and servanthood. So everybody's got a gimmick and she's going to help with that. But anytime you get to have somebody like that on your campus with your student athletes, take advantage of it. And hopefully she can get some classes towards a master's while she's there too, and work out in those world-class Nike facilities and whatever. Okay. So college basketball notes. Good luck this season. Mike, I personally wanted to come back to a story. Eastern Michigan's Amani Bates is looking like the player who was once hyped to be a future NBA star. He is playing this season at Eastern Michigan. They had a close loss to Michigan. He's the number 3 recruit in the 2021 class, played at Memphis last year. And I just am hoping he can put together a good season and move on with his life after his challenges that he had this summer. So again, I wanted to say good luck to him, and I'm glad he's playing. All right.
Yeah. Good luck.
We had talked about his story,
yes.
and
yes.
So now he's playing, and go get that thing, man. Go get that thing.
Yes.
So, Mike, I want to talk to you about playing in non-traditional locations. Wisconsin versus Stanford. Wisconsin played Stanford at the American Family Field, which is the home of Major League Baseball's Milwaukee Brewers. It has a retractable roof, and the stadium was reconfigured for basketball by removing the pitcher's mound and placing the court on the infield, and they brought in like 400 bleacher seats. Would you want to play in that kind of atmosphere, Mike?
I don't know. I just don't. It's just the configuration is just different. I mean, for an athlete, I'm sure once you get into the groove or whatever, it's all the same. But still, it just looks kind of different for me. For me, that's just
And Gonzaga and Michigan State played on the flight deck of the USS Carl Vinson at North Island. I'm sorry, no, they played on the USS Abraham Lincoln at North Island. They had a 3,000, they had a crowd of 3,000 made up of sailors from the aircraft carrier. Team wore camouflage, but they're playing outside. And Gonzaga's number 2 team in the country, and these games count. Any thoughts of playing on an aircraft carrier?
Other than why?
Well, it was Veterans Day and pomp and circumstance.
I get that, but I don't know if I got a team that's nationally supposed to be in contention for the national championship, I don't know if I take that game. I mean, I take the game, but maybe not on the aircraft. There's too many things that can go, in my opinion. Call me skeptic, but there's too many things that can go wrong on an aircraft. I'm glad it didn't, but it's just.
So where's the craziest place you've ever played a game? Because I'm going to tell you my story, but where's the craziest place you played?
Harcum at JUCO. We were playing against Harcum, and their gym was messed up. So we ended up playing in a middle school gym, and the wind, the door couldn't close all the way. So the wind was blowing leaves in there, and Harcum was number 2 in the nation. We steal a ball, and we go down. Kid goes in to make a layup. We steal the ball. He slips on a leaf on the floor. They call traveling. They come down, sit on the ball, score, and win the game.
Wow. Wow. So, Mike, at Hood College, we flew to Puerto Rico for a tournament in the holidays. And again, it's one of the recruiting things that we used. Shout out to TD and Tay Hill. We're playing indoors and outdoors in the same game. So the facility we played in was partially indoor, partially out. So for half the game, when you cross half court, you outside.
What?
Half the game. When you cross half court, you outside. So of course, they are playing on the outside part at the first half, and we played on the inside part, and then we played on the outside part the second half. That's just how the place was configured. I don't even know if we won or lost the game. I just remember being cold because you know what side our
Oh, your ass was outside. Definitely. Your bench was outside.
But anyway,
Where was that? Puerto Rico?
we were in Puerto Rico, and the tournament. They do a nice job with the tournament and all of that.
To see the pictures of that place.
I don't even think we have one. I got to ask the fellas if there's some existing photographs or something like that. But
in Puerto Rico. How about
in Puerto Rico. Now, again, when you're playing basketball in Puerto Rico in December, it's really not a lot to argue about. Because after the game, they on the beach.
True.
Their morning workout was on the beach. Their evening stretching on the beach. On the beach. We went to Old San Juan, did all of that stuff.
Nice.
Ate well. And when you're in college, some of the players are over 21. And we stayed in a hotel with, let's say, some excitement.
Mhm.
And as long as it's not on sports games, no one really cares.
Sports days.
So they're gonna stay up later than me anyway. So there's no need to police them.
Regardless.
Morning, coach. You still up? We don't got a game today. Okay.
See your ass in the stretch.
Well, in segment 3 of the Odd Coaches podcast, we're going to talk about the upcoming week in the NBA. We'll be right back after this short break. And again, shout out to Hood College basketball.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 3. Let's get to this week in the NBA. We're coming. Next week in the NBA. So we're about 12 games in, Mike, give or take. Eastern Conference top 3. Bucks, Celtics, Cavs. Yeah, same as last week, and I think it's going to be the same next week because they're playing very well. The middle 3, Pacers, Knicks, and Sixers. Yes.
You said Bucks, Celtics, Cavs. It's the Hawks.
No, man. Have you looked at today's standings?
I'm looking. Oh, okay.
So,
I'm looking at the
Hawks are there, and that duo is playing better than anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
I worry about the same thing all the time with the Hawks.
Trey.
Yes, you're going to play, you're going to win 40, 50 games, and then we're going to let all the bums go, and then you're going to play a 7-game series where everybody's game planning for you. You're going to come off the high screen, and somebody's going to put Trey on his butt. And you ain't gonna win.
your love for Atlanta sports is
They ain't
never
gonna win.
win.
So yeah, whatever. But again, keep winning. God bless you. You're gonna be a top 6.
I'm done.
All right. Middle 3 right now. The Pacers are 7, the Knicks are 8, and the Sixers are 9. Okay, so that's that. I don't know why the Sixers are playing so bad. I don't know how many injuries they have, but
No.
Doc Rivers should be on a scorching hot seat because
This
they've
is-
invested a lot of money in this. They've traded, they've done all kinds of things, and they're getting nothing out of it. The Knicks are just trying to make the playoffs, and they need to get to 6. And I don't know if they have the talent to get to 6. And the Pacers are just playing hard every night. God bless them. But they're not very good. They're just competing and
Mhm.
doing the best that they can. And then they'll be a first round, get the hell
That
out,
good
and whatever.
Midwestern effort.
Good. And the bottom 3 tends to be consistent: 13 Orlando, 14 Charlotte, 15 Detroit.
So disappointing.
All right, in the Western Conference, top 3: Utah, Memphis, Portland. Wow. I'm still shocked that Utah is, again, it's very early in the season, but they traded their, I remember when we started this, Mike, I said, man, they traded their 3 best players. Utah's done.
So
I'm
I
not
have a
talking
question
about
for
them.
you.
Talk to me.
Can we say this? Because you know how I am. Who said they were their 3 best players?
The data.
I'm just, you know me. I was never sold on
No, you were not.
Gobert, Yogurt, whatever his name is today. I don't know. I never sold on him. Never sold on Mitchell.
How did he
I
get
know
that many
he can
draft picks for
score.
that dude? Though?
I know he can score, but you got to be able to do more than that, you know. And when that big light shine on you, and you can't do nothing, and we call that big light the playoffs. When that big light shine on you, I can't pay you to disappear. So all 3 of them dudes who the best 3, nah, I don't know. I'm different. People call me crazy, but I'm about results.
Yes.
Not about talk.
Yes, indeed. So I like Memphis, and Memphis will be there, and Memphis is going to be a problem for somebody.
Yeah,
Memphis is going to be a problem. Now, I don't know how long Portland can keep this up. That I don't know. I don't know if Portland can keep this up, but the middle 3. Number 7 on the New Orleans Pelicans, baby. And the Zion watch continues. You keep playing, big fella. You keep playing and keep getting these doubters and haters. Get them 60 games in. And after you get 60 and I get the
shut it down. You shut it down.
We won't care anymore. But let's get to 60.
You can shut it down after that.
The Clippers are 8, Mike. Why are the Clippers 8? They got playoff P. They got John Wall.
Whatever you call him.
Is Kawhi playing yet? Is he on the court yet? I don't think so.
Let's go back to the NBA preview where you told me, Mike, you can't say that. When I told you them boys wasn't gonna make it through the season. I told you they're gonna get hurt. At some point, all I'm gonna miss significant time.
It's Kawhi in the last year of his contract. He tends, again, I'm not, hating or anything.
That man always looking out the front door. Like, what's the name of that song? Can you woo, woo, woo? Looking at the front door.
Oh,
that's
my
him.
goodness. Yeah. So, good luck to him. And San Antonio's not.
Jeez, they bad.
They don't have. But the bottom 3, Minnesota, who made all those trades. How you in the bottom 3 and you trade everything for Rudy Gobert? And the only thing that's different from Utah is Rudy's there, and now he's not there. Lakers are 14.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. I mean, this is a sad situation.
They're horrible.
They're bad, man.
They're horrible, bro.
And Houston's 15. Houston wasn't expected to do nothing. But the Lakers, how are you this bad? How are you 14th in the conference?
They didn't make no trades. They didn't do anything.
14th in the conference.
They need to get rid of Softy.
Who's Softy? Anthony Davis.
Which one, right?
Oh.
No, Anthony Davis. Yeah, he gotta go, man.
All
He
right.
gotta go. He gotta go.
He got to go. Who else got to go? Russell
Russ
got to
gotta
go.
go. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
they gotta go.
Why aren't you trading Bron?
If I could, but who want him?
You know he did.
And I say that not, but how long is he gonna be in the game? Let's be honest. Like I'm still, at least you're gonna get at least 2 years out of. You'll get at least 3 out of Anthony Davis, 2 out of Russell in the right setting, maybe 3. You're not gonna get that out of. Ain't no guarantee you're gonna get that out of LeBron. No guarantee. Year 20, he just holding on to break Kareem record.
Pretty much. Well, games of the week. Friday, November 18th. The Bucks are playing the Sixers. Denver's playing Dallas.
That's the game of the week.
These are the games I'm interested in, and Phoenix is playing Utah. So those are 3 games I'm going to pay attention to
Sixers
on Friday.
ain't gonna make it fun, man.
And then Saturday, Utah plays Portland. So the back-to-back thing. Let's see if y'all still winning. Minnesota's playing the Sixers, 2 underperforming teams. And out of respect for my partner, I want to pay attention to Toronto Raptors against the Hawks on Saturday the 19th. I want to see the Hawks play and like give them some attention. So we'll see what happens with that. So Mike, want to close out, although this is our Wind Up Wednesday episode, this Saturday coming up, we got a football thing that I'd love for you to share with our audience, sir, about the Maryland Ohio State game. Can you let our audience know how they can help us?
Yes, audience, you can help us by bringing your non-perishable items to the University of Maryland this weekend, even if you're not attending the game. This is the 6th year of the Francis Sports Academy drive for our local transitional housing facility for homeless families in Anne Arundel County. We collect these items. We do very charitable things, like many charitable things, and activities trying to bring support to our local community and give back. So we'll be collecting outside of the game, where we'll be one inside, but we're close to will call set up. You can come by and just drop your items off, even if you're not attending the game. Everything that you bring to us, we will make sure that we get, delivered to Sarah's house for our families. And again, my son, AJ Francis, set this up, I think 6-7 years ago when we first started doing it. Before, we used to do one event, like one of every event this time, like football, basketball, volleyball, men's, women's, like all of that. But, because of the schedule now, we're fortunate. Plus, the Ohio State game is going to draw a crowd. So we're hoping that if you're coming to the game, no matter what school you go to or you're alumni of, please help us help other people who are a little less fortunate.
Absolutely. And again, fans, follow all of us on social media. Follow Coach Francis at Coach Franchise, spelled FRANCHIZE. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast at Odd Coaches. Follow me at CKA Save Project, and follow AJ. I believe, Mike, it's at AJ Francis 410.
Yep,
410.
The area code AJ Francis 410.
All right. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we will see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project,
please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.